I never believed in miracles until I became one. When I was 15, my life was as ordinary as it could be, or so I thought. My mom and I lived in a small apartment, scraping by on her 2 jobs. I'd often stay up late, staring at the ceiling, wondering if life would ever be more than school, work, and endless bills. That's when everything changed. It was an unremarkable day at school until Mrs. Harper, our English teacher, handed out an assignment. Write about the biggest impact you could ever have on someone's life. I groaned, rolling my eyes, because honestly, what impact could a broke teenager with no special talents have? But then I remembered Rosa. She was an older woman who lived across the hall from us. She rarely left her apartment, and when she did, it was to shuffle down the hallway with her walker, a shadow of loneliness hanging over her. My mom always told me to check on her when I got home, so I did, sometimes reluctantly. That night while writing the essay, I wondered, what if I could actually make a difference for someone like Rosa? I decided to put my thoughts into words, pouring my heart out about wanting to bring light into someone's dark world, even if it was just by being there. I turned in the essay, expecting nothing, but Mrs. Harper called me after class the next week. This, she said holding up my paper, is the kind of heart the world needs more of. She encouraged me to take action, even if it felt small. Inspired, I started spending more time with Rosa. I'd bring her little things, a magazine, a cup of tea, or just stories about my day. Slowly, her eyes began to light up, and I learned about her past. She'd lost her husband years ago and had no children. For the first time in years, she said, she didn't feel invisible. Months passed, and Rosa's health began to decline. On a particularly cold winter evening, she handed me a small dusty box. "Open it when I'm gone," she said with a weak smile. I protested, but she insisted. When Rosa passed a few weeks later, I felt shattered. The hallway seemed emptier, quieter, heavier. That night, I opened the box. Inside was a stack of letters she'd written to me over the months. One read, "You gave me a reason to smile again. You reminded me that kindness still exists. You saved me, my dear." Tears blurred my vision as I found a small photo of her and her husband, smiling in front of a blooming garden. On the back, she'd written, "Live a life you're proud of. You're capable of more than you know." From that day forward, I lived differently. I volunteered at shelters, worked with the elderly, and chased a career in social work. Rosa's words became my compass, guiding me toward a life filled with purpose. Sometimes the biggest miracle isn't finding someone to save you, it's discovering that you have the power to save someone else.